Good day everyone, I hope you are safe at your home. Today we will discuss a new lesson for Social Science 3. But before that, let's have a quick review of what we have discussed last meeting. Last meeting we discussed the law of supply and the law of demand. What does the law of demand say? It says that the higher the price, buyers will demand less of an economic good or an economic product or service. Meaning, kapag mataas yung presyo ng mga bilihin, mas kakaunti lamang yung willing and able na bilhin ng mga mamimili. On the other hand, the law of supply says that the higher the prices, sellers will supply more of an economic good or service, or sellers are more motivated to supply more of their goods and services. Meaning, kapag mas mataas naman ang presyo on the side of the suppliers, on the side of the firms and businesses, pag mas mataas ang presyo, mas gusto naman nila ngayon na magbenta ng mas maraming mga produkto kasi mas kikita sila. Now, in general, if there is a low supply, but there's a high demand, that could increase the price of a product or a service. Meaning, kapag napakababa ng supply tapos ang daming gustong bumili ng supply na yon, in general, ang taas ng presyo ng produkto na yon. On the other hand, if there's a high supply, and then if there's a high supply and there is a low demand, what happens now? What happens now is, bumababa naman yung presyo ng mga bilihin. Kasi there's a lot of supply. Pwede natin sabihin, there's a surplus of supply. Maraming mga supply available of these products and services. Pero kakaunti lamang yung demand. Kasi baka hindi kayang bilhin ng mga tao yung presyo ng mga bilihin na yun. Or sadyang out of season yung produkto na yun. Kunyari, for example, mga long sleeves, tapos summer ngayon. So, kung merong malaking supply ng long sleeves pero summer at mababa yung demand, then the tendency for the suppliers and the firms ay babaan nila yung presyo nung binibenta nila kasi napakababa nung demand. Okay? So, in general again, low supply but high demand, there could be an increase of price. But if there is a high supply and now there is a low demand, there could be a decrease in the price of products and services. Okay, so now let's discuss another lesson, the labor market. Okay, the labor market, there are terms here na we will be introduced into, okay, and we will be made familiarized with. Okay, so as we have all learned from our past discussions regarding the circular flow of diagram, we knew that households provide labor required to manufacture goods or services. On the other hand, firms return these labor with compensation or by paying them wages or salary. Okay, so in our circular flow of diagram, we know that household get supplies from firms or businesses. And when they get supply from firm and businesses, these firm and businesses, they generate income for it. On the other hand, the businesses or the firms, they get supply of labor from the household. And in return, these firms and businesses pay wages or salary to the household for the labor that they provided. Okay, so paikot lang siya. Yung household, nagsusupply siya ng labor sa mga firm. On the other hand, yung firm naman nagsusupply ng products and services sa mga household. Yung household, binabayaran sila ng firm. On the other hand, yung household, binabayaran sila ng firm, kaya yung firm nagkakaroon sila ng tubo. On the other hand, yung firm, binabayaran din nila yung household kapag kumuha sila ng labor at nagkakaroon ng kita o ng sweldo yung household. So, paikot lang siya, kaya siya nga naging circular flow of diagram. Okay, so just like the prices, which derive the quantity in the product market, nakita natin during the law of supply and demand, we knew na the increase in price or the decrease in price could affect the demand of products and services. So it's also the same with the demand for labor. Okay, the demand for labor. Just like the prices that drive quantity in the product market, wages, o yung tinatawag natin na sweldo o kita ng mga nagtatrabaho, influence the quantity demanded and supplied in the labor market. So, meaning, kung paano yung presyo ng mga bilihin ay nakaka-apekto sa quantity supplied and quantity demand of products and products, okay, in general, makita rin naman natin that wages, which is pera, okay, kita, could also influence yung quantity demanded and quantity supplied sa labor market. Meron tayong tinatawag na labor market, di ba? Labor market is the pool of people, okay, who render services, okay, who render skills to firms and businesses so that there could be products and services that will be manufactured. Okay? So that's the labor market. The labor market is the market for which, from where these firms, these businesses get their labors. Okay, that's the labor market. Now, what is involved in the labor market? What's very significant in the labor market is the so-called wages. Meaning, yung baba, taas, o liit ng sweldo ay makakaapekto sa dami ng mga tao na willing magtrabaho. Okay? At makakaapekto rin to sa dami ng mga tao na willing kunin ng mga firms at businesses. Okay? So para mas maunawa natin, let's go to the next slides. Okay, the labor supply and population growth. Let's just define some of the terms that are important for the labor market. Number one, we have the labor force. Labor force refers to the total, okay? The total number of people identified as employed and unemployed. Okay, pag sinabi natin labor force, ito ay kinabibilangan ng dalawang klase ng tao sa lipunan. Those who are employed, o merong mga trabaho. Pangalawa, those who are unemployed, o yung yung unemployed meaning walang trabaho, pero naghahanap ng trabaho. Okay? So they are the unemployed. Paano naman po yung mga taong walang trabaho at hindi rin naman naghahanap ng trabaho? Are they part of the labor force? Pero sila ay they are between 18 to 65 years old. Ibig sabihin, sila yung mga taong meron ng kakayahan at merong karapatan na magtrabaho. Are they part of the so-called labor force? Again, ang katanungan ko is, sabi kasi sa labor force, parte daw dito ay yung mga employed o yung mga nagtatrabaho, at yung mga unemployed o yung mga walang trabaho pero naghahanap ng trabaho. Paano po yung mga walang trabaho at hindi rin naman naghahanap ng trabaho? Parte po ba sila ng tinatawag na labor force? Itong mga taong to, 18 to 65-year-old sila. Ibig sabihin, meron silang kakayahang magtrabaho at under the law, they are already on the legal age, okay, of working. Parte pa rin ba sila ng labor force? For example, yung mga nanay natin who chose to be full-time mothers, di ba? Wala silang trabaho kung saan talagang kumikita sila, pero hindi rin naman sila naghahanap ng trabaho. Okay? Another example, yung mga people who decided to be full-time students, yung mga nagtitake ng masters, nagtitake ng doctoral degree, okay? So, are they part of the labor force? The answer is no. They are not part of the labor force because they are not actively seeking job. Okay? Pinili nila talaga na hindi sila kumita ng pera. Okay? So, they are not part of the labor force. Kahit pa sabihin natin 18-year-old to 65-year-old na sila, hindi pa rin sila part ng labor force kasi hindi naman sila naghahanap ng trabaho. Okay? Nagigets natin? So, again, pag sinabi natin labor force, these are the total number of people who are either employed and then unemployed. Let's define unemployed. When we say employed, it represents individuals who have a job. It doesn't matter if they are working on a full-time job or they are just working on a part-time job or they are on a contractual job or what. As long as meron silang trabaho at sila ay sinusweldohan, it doesn't matter if their wage is low or not, if their wage is below the minimum wage or not. Eh, hindi to usapin kung maliit ba o malaking sweldo nila, kung part-time ba o full-time yung job nila. As long as they have a work at sila ay sinusweldohan, they are employed. Okay? Next, unemployed. It refers to people who are presently actively seeking for a job. Okay? O di kaya naman yung mga tao na natanggal sa trabaho pero naghahanap pa rin ng trabaho at naghihintay na sila ay pabalikin sa kanilang trabaho. So they are part of the so-called unemployed. Again, when we say unemployed, walang trabaho pero naghahanap ng trabaho. Actively seeking jobs. Okay? So, hindi po natin pwedeng isama doon sa unemployed yung mga taong walang trabaho pero hindi rin naman talaga naghahanap na ng trabaho. For example nga, yung mga housewife, yung mga sinasabi natin plain housewife. They do not have a job na talagang sumusweldo sila, okay? But on the other hand, hindi rin naman talaga sila naghahanap ng trabaho or they are not interested in finding jobs. So we cannot say that they are unemployed. Okay? They are eligible to work. Okay? But they cannot be part of the so-called unemployed. Kasi pag sinabi natin unemployed, naghahanap ng trabaho. Another example nito is yung mga tao na pinili na mag-aral for long years, di ba? 18 years old na sila to 65-year-old. Pero hindi pa rin sila naghahanap ng trabaho kasi nga they are studying. So, hindi natin sila matatawag na unemployed. Okay? Because they are not actively seeking a job. Now, we also have the so-called underemployed. These are the workers who have earned or who have been trained for better skills, but on their present job, they're not using the skills that they have on that particular job. So, underemployed describes workers who are better skilled than what their current jobs require. Okay? So, ito yung mga tao na maaaring nakatapos ng 4-year courses, has bachelor degrees, pero yung kanilang kasalukuyang trabaho ay pwede sa mga unskilled people. Okay? Yung mga taong hindi nakatapos ng pag-aaral, yung mga taong walang mga bachelor's degree. So, they could be called underemployed. These are the people na nakatapos man sila ng kanilang kurso, pero dahil dun sa tinapusan nilang kurso ay walang tumatanggap sa kanila na kumpanya para dun sa kurso na tinapusan nila, kaya these people settled dun sa mga ibang trabaho na hindi naman talaga nila pinag-aralan o hindi nila kailangang magtapos ng 4-year course para makapasok sila. Okay? So, yun yung mga underemployed na mga tao. Population growth. Population growth is the increase in the total number of human beings in the country. Okay? So, when we say population growth, ito yung pagtaas, okay, pagtaas ng numero ng populasyon sa bansa. Okay. So, we also have census. Census is the official collection of population. It is conducted every 5 years by the PSA or Philippine Statistics Authority. Okay? The census is the total or the collection of population and the information of this population of a country. And they are conducting the census every 5 years. Okay? So I hope that's clear. Okay, now, when we come to the discussion regarding the employment status of a particular country, kasi we have known that every country wants full employment for their citizens, right? So there are there could be two equations on how people tend to measure the employment status in a particular country. Number one, we have the so-called unemployment rate. O ito yung rate ng mga taong walang trabaho pero naghahanap ng trabaho or actively seeking job. Okay? So, unemployment rate measures the percentage of individuals in the labor force who do not have a job but actively seeking a job. So, what is the formula for unemployment rate? Para makuha natin gaano karami yung mga taong walang trabaho pero parte ng labor force. Gaano sila karami? So, we are using the formula, unemployment rate divided by labor force times 100. Okay? So, i-divide mo muna yung unemployment rate over the labor force bago mo sila i-times o i-multiply sa 100. Okay? So, on the other hand, meron tayong tinatawag na labor participation rate. What is the difference of unemployment rate and then labor force participation rate? The difference is when it comes to labor force participation rate, isinasama dito even those people na hindi parte ng labor force, okay? O those people who are eligible to work, like people 18 to 65-year-old, na merong kakayahang magtrabaho at merong binigyan ng karapatan at pribilehiyong makapagtrabaho. Pero, they are not actively seeking jobs. Okay, doon kasi sa unemployment rate, ang kasama lang doon ay people who are employed and the people who are employed. Ibig sabihin, hindi sinusukat ng unemployment rate yung mga tao na 18 to 65-year-old at walang trabaho, pero hindi na rin naghahanap ng trabaho. Dito sa labor participation rate, kahit yung mga tao who could be working already, na walang trabaho at hindi rin naghahanap ng trabaho, parte rin sila dito sa computation labor participation rate. Okay, I hope that's clear. Again, sa unemployment rate, sa pagsukat ng unemployment rate, ang sinusukat lamang dito lahat lamang ng parte ng labor force. Pag sinabi natin labor force, ito yung mga employed and unemployed. Pag sinabi natin unemployed, mga taong walang trabaho pero actively seeking job. So, sa unemployment rate, hindi kasama dito yung mga taong pwede na magtrabaho pero walang trabaho at hindi rin naman naghahanap ng trabaho. Okay. Sa participation rate, kasama yun. Okay. So, the formula to get the labor participation rate is equal to labor force divided by working age population times 100. Or, labor force, i-divide mo siya muna sa working age population. These are 18 to 65-year-old people. Saka mo siya i-multiply sa 100. Okay, so let's give an example para mas maunawaan natin ano yung pinakaiba ng unemployment rate sa labor force participation rate. Okay, we will have a sample computation. We have the following. For the employed, there's 35, and there are 15 unemployed, and then there are 14 which are not part of the labor force. So ito yung mga tao who are on the right age para magtrabaho, pero they choose not to work kasi they could be housewife or they could be full-time students. Okay? So if we will compute the unemployment rate, hindi natin isasama itong mga hindi parte ng labor force. Again, sino itong mga hindi parte ng labor force? Sila yung mga tao na nasa tamang edad na, pero pinili na hindi talaga magtrabaho. These people, they are not actively seeking job. So, hindi po sila kasama sa computation ng unemployment rate. Okay, kaya, pag kinumpute natin yung unemployment rate, unemployed, which is 15, divided by the labor force. Labor force is employed plus unemployed. Employed plus unemployed. So, 35 plus 15 is equal to 50. Okay. So, labor force is equal to employed plus unemployed. Okay, so 35 plus 15 is equal to 50 or 50. Okay, so 15 over 50 times 100. This is the formula for the unemployment rate with given variables that we have. So 15 divided by 50 is equal to 0.3. So times natin siya by 100 to get the percentage. So in this particular case, there is a 30% unemployment rate. On a real world, itong 30% unemployment rate, napakataas po nito. Okay? Ibig sabihin, napakaraming tao naghihirap at nagugutom at walang trabaho kung 30% yung unemployment rate. Punta tayo sa pangalawa. Labor force participation rate. Now this time, sabi ko nga sa inyo, pagdating sa labor force participation rate, kasama po doon yung people na nasa tamang edad na para magtrabaho pero piniling hindi magtrabaho, which is itong 14 who are not part of the labor force. So, paano ba natin i-compute? So, labor force participation rate is equal to labor force. So, ano ulit yung formula for labor force? Employed plus unemployed. Employed plus unemployed is equal to labor force. So, 35 plus 15 is equal to 50. Ito po yung labor force. Next. I-divide natin siya doon sa buong population ng working age population. O ito yung mga tao na nasa tamang edad na para magtrabaho. Okay? So, ito total lang natin yung 35 plus 15 plus 14 or employed plus unemployed plus those people who are not in the labor force. So, 35 plus 15 plus 14 is equal to 64. Okay, is equal to 64. 35 plus 15 plus 14 is equal to 64. This is the working age population. Okay, so labor force participation rate is equal to 50 divided by 64 times 100. That is equal to 0.78125 times 100 is equal to 78.13%. Again, 78.13%. This is the labor force participation rate. Ibig sabihin, sa lahat ng nasa working population, nasa working age population, ilan doon yung nasa labor force? Sabi natin dito, there are 50 people out of 64 people na nasa labor force. So that's 78.13% of the whole working age population. Working age population. Okay? So ibig sabihin, mataas to, no? Ibig sabihin, yung iba kasi na nandito sa working age population, sila yung mga housewife, o di kaya naman yung mga nag-retire ng maaga, so wala pang 65-year-old pero nag-retire na, 50 pala, nag-retire na. So they are those people na hindi na parte hindi na parte ng labor force kasi wala silang trabaho at hindi na rin sila naghahanap ng trabaho. So hindi na sila parte ng labor force. Again, ang ibig sabihin nitong resultang ito is that 78.13% of those who are in the working age population are part of the labor force. Again, 78.13% of those who are in the working age population are part of the labor force. Okay, so yun yung labor force participation rate. So, when it comes to economic goals of a particular country, every country wants full employment, okay, for their people, for their citizens. Okay, so, full employment is another macroeconomic goal of a nation. But in reality, sa katotohanan, there are imbalances in the economy when it comes to reaching. Now, it's hard to reach that full unemployment rate or having zero unemployment. O kumbaga, lahat ng tao sa iyong bansa ay nagtatrabaho. So sometimes, napakahirap i-achieve noon. Okay? Hindi sometimes, madalas, or lagi, or sa lahat ng mga bansa, napakahirap i-achieve ng zero unemployment rate. O yung lahat ng tao ay nagtatrabaho. Okay, so, we have four types of unemployment. So, merong 4 na klase ng mga kaso kung saan nagkakaroon ng unemployment o pagkawala ng trabaho ng mga workers. So, we have 4 types of unemployment. Number 1 is frictional unemployment. Ito yung mga temporary unemployment lamang. Ito yung sabihin, panandalian lamang because these people are in the transitions or these people are in between jobs. For example nito, yung mga kakagraduate lang. Okay? Pati sila ng tinatawag na frictional unemployment. Okay? Yung mga kakagraduate lang ng college at naghahanap ng trabaho, they are in the transitional period of their time, of their life. Okay? They're looking for jobs. At temporary lang naman yung pagiging unemployed nila because they're actively seeking jobs. So, yun yung example ng frictional employment. Mga estudyante nakakagraduate lang at naghahanap ng trabaho. So, wala pa silang trabaho kasi naghahanap pa sila at katatapos lang nila mag-aral. Pangalawa, structural unemployment. Ito naman yung pagkawala ng trabaho dahil maaaring nagkaroon ng upgrade sa technology ang isang company. So, kunyari, ang isang company na dati ay gumagamit ng labor, ng manual labor o yung mga tao talaga yung kunyari nagre-repack ng mga bagay-bagay, naglalagay sa bote or nagsiseal ng bote na yon. Tapos all of a sudden, yung company na yon, nagbago sila, nag-upgrade sila ng technology. So ngayon ang nangyayari, machines na yung gumagana, puro machines na yung gumagana. So tendency ng company na yon is magtanggal na sila ng mga tao na nag-work sa kanila for manual labor kasi nagkaroon na sila ng upgrade sa technology at yung mga kayang gawin ng tao is pinalitan na ng mga machines. So that's part of structural unemployment. From the word structural, nagbabago yung structure ng company or ng business na yon. Okay? Isa pang example, when a company kunyari from Rizal, lumipat na sila ng Batangas. Okay? So, ang mangyayari kadalasan is yung mga trabahador nila, if mga taga Rizal, syempre, tatanggalin na nila yon at kukuha sila ng panibagong mga trabahador na nandun naman sa Batangas. Kasi nagkaroon ng pagbabago sa sistema ng kanilang kumpanya. So, yun yung structural unemployment. Results from technology changes, from upgrades of required skills. Okay? Another example nito, dati, wala pa masyadong vehicles, no? Wala pa masyadong motorized vehicles sa bansa. So, ang ginagamit ng mga tao dati ay yung mga karwahe. Kaya gumagamit sila ng mga kabayo to travel from one place to another. But, nung nagkaroon ng upgrade sa technology at dumami na yung motorized vehicle sa bansa, hindi na kinakailangan ngayon yung mga ganong klase na serbisyo. Okay? So, that's structural unemployment. Nagkakaroon ng pagbabago sa structure, nagkakaroon ng pagbabago sa location, nagkakaroon ng pagbabago sa technology. Next, cyclical unemployment caused by upturn and downturn in the business cycle. So, ito po yung pagkawalan ng trabaho dahil maaaring nagkaroon ng recession. Okay? So, usually kapag nagkakaroon ng recession, dahil mababa na yung demand during recession dahil walang kinikita at walang pera yung mga tao. So pag mababa yung demand, siyempre hindi magsusupply yung mga firms and businesses kapag recession. So ang mangyayari, magkakat sila ng dami ng tao, dami ng trabahador, di ba? Magle-lay off sila ng mga workers o magtatanggal sila ng mga workers kasi unti na lang yung kailangan nilang i-produce. So, magkakaroon ng cyclical unemployment. Okay? Ngayon, kapag gumanda ulit yung takbo ng ekonomiya, no, at nagkaroon ng business expansion, na wala na yung recession, okay, so pwede ulit mag-hire yung mga firms and businesses ng mga bagong trabahador. Okay, so with that, nagkakaroon ng employment ulit yung mga taong tinanggal dahil sa recession. Okay, so that's cyclical unemployment. Next, seasonal unemployment. It happens kapag yung mga industriya ay nagkakaroon ng peak at lean season. For example, summer. So, pag summer, kapag, kunyari sa ibang bansa, winter. So, pag winter, baka yung production ng ice cream bumababa. Di ba? Yung mga malalamig na mga produkto bumababa kasi it's winter, so people do not want to consume mga malalamig din na mga bagay-bagay. So, pwedeng yung kumpanya, every winter season, nagtatanggal sila ng mga trabahador nila kasi nga mas unti yung pinuproduce nila na produkto. Ngayon, pag summer na ulit at mas marami nang dinidemand sa kanila na produkto, then pwede sila mag-rehire ng mga employees. Okay? So that's seasonal employment. Depende sa season, depende sa panahon. Okay? So that's seasonal unemployment. Okay, factors of production earn what is called factor income. Factor income for labor is wage. Again, the factor income for labor is wage. Ano ba yung kapalit? O ano yung binibigay? Ano yung kita na natatanggap ng mga taong nagtatrabaho? That is so-called wage. Okay, o sahod. So, meron tayong wage, meron tayong salary. Anong pinagkaiba nun? Pag sinabi natin wage, it measures the hourly or daily rate. Usually, para to sa mga unskilled workers, no? Ang pagsusweldo talaga sa kanila ay hindi yung fix, no? Ang pagsusweldo sa kanila depende sa oras na kanilang ni-render. Pwede rin to sa mga part-time employees, wage yung tawag dun kasi per hour yung rate nila, per hour or per day yung kanilang rate. So ang tawag natin dun wage. So hindi siya fixed, pwede siya mag-iba-iba. Okay? For a month, pwedeng mas malaki yung kinikita mo ngayong buwan compared dun sa sumunod na buwan kasi per hour yung kwenta, okay, ng iyong sasahurin. Next, we also have salary. Salary, ito usually sa mga malalaking companies, yung mga skilled workers, kunyari mga accountant, yung mga tao na talagang meron silang fixed amount of sahod na kapag nag-apply sila sa isang trabaho at kapag pumirma sila ng kontrata para sa trabaho na yun, nakalagay na doon, monthly, 20,000 yung kikitaan mo, monthly, 30,000 yung kikitain mo. So, that is the salary. Okay? So, medyo, yun lang naman yung pinakaiba ng wage at salary. Wage, ito yung hourly or daily na rate. When salary, ito yung fixed rate for a month, no, or for every quincenas. Okay. So, next, we have minimum wage. Ito naman yung sineset na floor price. Ibig sabihin, ito ay sineset ng government. Nang sa ganon, yung isang kumpanya, hindi siya pwedeng magbigay ng sweldo na mas mababa doon sa minimum age. Pero in reality, of course, maraming mga tao na napipilitan tumanggap ng mga lower than the minimum wage na mga sahod, no? Dahil wala na silang choice. Okay? Pero yun, marami sa mga bansa ay nagsiset talaga ng minimum wage. Again, ito yung floor price. Ibig sabihin, yung company, hindi sila dapat nagbibigay ng sahod na mas mababa sa minimum wage. Okay? So, magkano ba sa Philippines? Sa Philippines, merong discrepancy between the minimum wage on those who are working in NCR and those who are working on the provinces. Okay? Those who are working in NCR would earn 540 pataas, no? 560, 50. Ganun kalaki ang kanilang minimum wage. On the other hand, those who are in the provinces, kasi for every region in the country, nag-iiba-iba yung minimum wage. Okay? For every region, nag-iiba-ibang minimum wage. Yung those who are working in the agriculture at those who are not working in the agriculture, may pagkakaiba rin sila ng minimum wage. Okay? So, pagdating sa minimum wage for the regions and the provinces in the Philippines, there are those regions who receive just 300 pesos as minimum wage, di ba? That's napakaliit. At meron namang iba who would receive as much as 400 pesos, no, na minimum wage. But in NCR, it's 500 plus. Okay? So, ganun kalaking discrepancies. Okay? And this is something na merong mga panawagan yung mga labor unions and labor groups that they're saying that there should not the minimum wage discrepancy for those who are in the NCR and those who are in provinces should be scrapped. Okay? So, dapat wala nang pagkakaiba yung minimum wage. Okay? Kasi, kadalasan, halos parehas lang din naman yung presyo ng mga bilihin, no, sa NCR at sa mga probinsya. Yun yung sinasabi nilang dahilan na kaya dapat parehas na lang yung minimum wage sa lahat ng region sa bansa. Okay. So the Department of Labor and Employment, or DOLE, is the one responsible for setting up and regularly reviewing the minimum wages. So it's the job of the DOLE, or the Department of Labor and Employment, to review, to set up, okay, the minimum wage. So every year po, nagkakaroon ng pagbabago. Okay? Every year, nagkakaroon ng pagbabago sa minimum wage, dapat. Wage and profit of a firm are negatively correlated. Wage is yung sahod, profit is yung kinikita o tinutubo ng mga firms at businesses. They are negatively correlated. Ibig sabihin, kapag mas mataas yung binibigay nilang sahod sa kanilang mga empleyado, mas lumiliit yung kanilang tubo o mas lumiliit yung kanilang kinikita. Okay? So, kapag mas binaba naman yung sahod ng mga empleyado, mas lumalaki yung pwede nilang kitain, mas lumalaki yung pwede nilang tubuin. Kaya siya tinawag na negatively correlated. Okay? Kapag tumaas yung wage, bumababa yung profit nila. Kapag binaba yung wage, tumataas yung profit ng mga firms and businesses. Good. So this is a graph showing what could be the possible effect if there is an increase in wage. Okay? O ano yung magiging epekto kapag nagkaroon ng pagtaas sa sweldo, okay, ng mga nagtatrabaho. So what happens is, ito yung market equilibrium, okay, o yung labor market equilibrium, kung saan nagtatagpo yung dami ng mga nasa labor force o yung supply ng labor, supply ng mga taong nagtatrabaho, at yung dinidemand ng firm, okay, na dami ng trabador. So ito yung labor force market equilibrium. Okay, labeled as Q. Okay, now what happens kapag itinaas yung minimum wage? If there's an increase of minimum wage, this is what will happen. On the supply side, dahil mas tumaas yung sweldo, mas itinaas yung minimum wage, mas marami na ngayong tao na nagnanais na maging parte ng labor force. Ibig sabihin, mas marami ngayong trabaho yung naghahanap na ng mas marami ngayong tao yung naghahanap ng trabaho. Okay? Kasi nga, tumaas yung minimum wage, mas motivated sila na magtrabaho kasi, at maghanap ng trabaho kasi, mas tumaas ang sweldo. Okay? So, on the supply side, tumataas. Okay? On the supply side, kapag mas mataas yung wage, mas marami yung nag-a-apply o naghahanap ng trabaho, o quantity supply. Punta tayo ngayon sa demand side. Okay? Or dun tayo sa demand curve. What happens in demand curve? Demand curve is the side of the suppliers, the firms, the businesses. Okay, again, demand curve is the side of the firms and the businesses. Supply curve is the side of the labor or those who are different households. Punta tayo sa demand curve. What happens kapag itinaas yung minimum wage? Anong nangyayari ngayon? Kapag itinaas yung minimum wage, this is what happens. Again, kapag itinaas yung minimum wage, ganito yung nangyayari. Nagkakaroon ng pagbaba sa demand, okay, ng mga gustong i-employ o gustong i-hire ng mga kumpanya. Okay? Sa supply side, nagkakaroon ng pagdami sa mga gustong mag-apply. Sa demand side, nagkakaroon ng pag-onti sa mga gustong i-hire ng mga kumpanya. Kasi nga, mas mataas na yung sweldo. So, ang tendency ng mga kumpanya, they will keep low numbers of employees kasi nga, ang taas ng kailangan nilang sweldo na ibigay sa mga employee na yun. Kapag nag-hire sila ng marami at tumaas ng ganun yung wage o yung sweldo, then hindi na sila kikita ng malaki. So, ang tendency ngayon is mag-hire sila ng mas kakaunting mga tao. Okay? So, nagkakaroon ng nawawala yung market equilibrium. Okay? So, that's what happens. In short, the higher wage rate leads to unemployment. In short, kapag mayroong tendency na kapag itinaas yung minimum wage, maraming mawawalan ng trabaho dahil pwedeng magtipid yung kumpanya o mas malaki nung kailangan namin ipasweldo. So, magtanggal na tayo ng ibang trabahador para hindi naman bumaba yung kinikita natin. Okay? So, a higher wage rate could lead to unemployment. The number of unemployed workers is represented by the difference of QS and QD in the diagram. So, from here, ganito karami yung hinar ng isang kumpanya. Ganito karami yung hinar, ganito karaming gusto mag-apply, pero ganito lang karaming gustong i-hire. Ganito karaming gusto mag-apply, ganito karaming gustong i-hire ng mga kumpanya kasi nga mas tumaas daw yung sahod. Ganun po yung nangyayari. Okay, next, let's go to labor migration and overseas Filipino workers. OFW or Filipinos working abroad or overseas Filipino workers, isa to sa mga siguro pwede natin matawag na specialization ng Philippines kasi we are sending a lot of OFWs abroad. Okay? So we are sending a lot of workers abroad. We are sending a lot of OFWs away from our countries. Many of them are skilled ones, no? But we're sending them anyway. Okay? Because what happens? Why? There is a concept of labor migration. Some people choose to work abroad kasi nga mas malaki yung kinikita doon. Hindi kaya naman kakaunti lamang yung opportunities o kakaunti lamang yung jobs na nandito sa bansa. Kung meron man, mas maliit yung sasahurin nila. That's why there is a labor migration or some people choose to work in the foreign country or some people choose to work abroad. Okay, again, sabi nga natin, pwede natin matawag to na specialization ng Philippines. Okay? So, globalization is another driver of increased labor migration. We are being globalized, meaning countries are working with other countries so that there could be development in their respective countries. No? There's a globalization, there's a trade happening all around the world, import, export, no? And OFWs and labor migration is also part of the so-called importation and exportation of services. Okay? So, for a country where we are exporting a lot of our people to work abroad. Okay? So, that's part of globalization. Country working with other countries so that there could be development in their respective countries. Okay? Countries trading with each other so that there could be developments, okay, or economic growth in their respective countries. So what happens is, like for example, we've been hearing a lot of news that Canada, Japan, Australia, Germany, okay, these following countries are looking for more workers. Why? Because maybe in their countries, especially like for example in Japan, mas marami yung aging population nila, mas marami yung mga tumatanda kaysa sa mga younger generation or younger population. Kaya naman they're looking for more labor service from other countries. So ang nangyayari, yung Philippines are sending a lot of workers abroad, especially to those countries who are looking for labors. Okay? Especially to those countries who are lacking some labor, that's why they ask countries like the Philippines to send them workers. Okay, so that's part of the so-called globalization. Labor policies here are governed by the labor code implemented by the government agencies such as DOLE, okay, for the local employed. So DOLE po yung naka-concentrate for those working locally. On the other hand, for the OFW, POEA naman po, yung Philippine Overseas, yung responsible, okay, para sa rights ng ating mga workers na nagtatrabaho sa ibang mga bansa. POEA or Philippine Overseas Employment Agency. Or Administration, sorry. POEA is Philippine Overseas Employment Administration. They are the ones naman who are responsible for taking care of the rights and welfare of our OFWs. So that's all. That's all for this particular lesson. I hope you are doing well. I hope you are working on the activities assigned to you, the assignment assigned to you, and you are staying home and you do not go outside. Okay? So let's keep praying na matapos na ang lahat ng to at bumalik na sa normal mga bagay-bagay. Let's pray for our family always. And God bless you all.